Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to Nerd Nation. We are talking the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 5. I'm here with Gaz and Mondino. How you doing, Gaz?
Absolutely, it's me.
Very good. Mondino, how you doing?
All good. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So this has been... Oh, my bad. I apologize. Sorry with the feedback. Okay. So this has been a very eventful episode as far as I'm concerned. I will run through a few things initially, but let's just get some shit off our chest right now before we start doing a play-by-play. Gaz, how did you feel about episode 5 generally?
Well, number 4 was the best episode so far. Number 5 had to try and match that, and I think it was much more low-key. So, like, because it ramps up the tension of what was going to happen to next, and this was more the after effects of what happened in the last episode. So, and again, I thought it was a really good episode, but I'll let Ray take what he thought before I go into specifics.
Mondino?
I thought this was a great episode. It's a great build-up to the season finale. There's plenty of twists and turns. The pacing was awesome. As you were saying, it was fast-paced, low-paced. There's plenty of exposition throughout it, kind of. And yeah, there was also like the characters here and there doing a bit of backstabbing, which I thought was awesome.
Anything else?
Well, I mean, we're going to get into the meat and veg of it in a while, so I don't want to go into it too much now.
Okay, fine. Let me just pull up my notes.
I mean, on the second viewing, the amount of notes I took for this was unbelievable. It was like I had to write an essay just to keep up with everything that was going on.
Okay, well sorry, go on, boss man.
I was going to say, well, I thought this, out of all the episodes we've had so far, I know that, like, you're going to say, oh, well, what about this episode or this episode, had the most high-octane intro to an episode ever, because we start off with Walker walking slowly, past all those, like, industrial, buildings. It was almost like, and then he's having flashbacks to what he just did, and, like, seeing Lamar and, like, having these different flashbacks, and then he enters into the one, and then, like, the Winter Soldier and Falcon are there, and, like, he's about to, and then you see that he's about to maybe think about giving him this order, but then he gets jealous and very possessive and stuff like that. So it's kind of like there is some good in him because he's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just like he's a very conflicted person.
I put it like this, boss man. If there was a child in a burning building, both John Walker and Sam would risk their lives to save that person, in my opinion. Even a juiced up John Walker, So that's how I look at it. Unfortunately, he's had the PTSD, the harsh realities of war. And he mentioned to Lamar in the previous episode they've done a lot of bad shit, and unfortunately, a lot of that bad shit has remained with him and is developed to who he is. But this episode did begin with the action scene at the beginning of the episode. I'm glad they got that out of the way. It very much reminded me of what we saw in Civil War with a 2-on-1. But this time Captain America is on his own, but Bucky's still part of the tag team. So we get these two fighting on John Walker. I have to say he gave a good account for himself. What do you guys think of that fight scene? I'll start with you, Mondino.
Oh man, that opening scene was awesome. Initially, where you just got John Walker on his own, you see him starting to crack up because his buddy, his best mate, his inner voice is gone. And even now you can see blood dripping out of both sides. And then you've got the two good guys there. And it just kind of, in the last episode, you hear them saying, we're not going to walk up on a guy and steal his shield. Or they walk up on the guy and they have a fight to steal the shield.
Yeah.
It was a nice way of setting it up from the previous episode into this one. And, Walker held his own in his current state. You could see him separating the two guys nicely. And then you see Falcon, Sam, kind of holding his own, using his expertise whilst Bucky's been sidelined for a minute. And there was that nice back and forth all the way through. And then suddenly when Falcon, you know, his pure identity, his main thing gets destroyed where Walker pulls his wings apart.
Beautiful.
It was like, oh, this is fucking amazing. It's like subconsciously you've got the two good guys trying to take the shield, which has now become John Walker's identity. And now he's destroying Falcon's identity by pulling his wings apart. And that was just kind of nice symmetry and nice storytelling. That was just action-packed and it was just full on. I loved it. I mean, at the end, where the two of them are taking on Walker and they have to crack his arm. You just hear the bone
Beautiful.
cracking. And you're like, oh, shit. I felt that myself, man. Boss man, what were you thinking?
Same sort of thing. Like, it was, as I said, I know it's hard to describe because we've had so many action scenes throughout this particular series, but I think it was one of the best ones. Just because the stakes were high. Again, we weren't necessarily rooting for one person to win and one person to lose, but we understood what would happen if Walker won. And the fact is like he was almost going to do it again to Sam, where he's about to hit him again with the thing. He's just like, this guy's crazed. It's like at one point he can be like perfectly reasonable when he's talking to Sam about like, you know, how he feels and how, you know, he's no longer the person that he's supposed to be. You know, you kind of get to see that, you know, he's not a bad person, you know, that just that everything that he's going through is sort of like directed him to this point, and it's just like, but then like, you know, both of them said like, you know, you can do this, you can do that, you can do the other, just give me the shield. As soon as he says give me the shield, he like flicks on a dime. It's like, oh, that's all you wanted, isn't it? And it's like, oh my god, it's like he's literally like that shield is like his own persona. It's like, I am Captain America and stuff like that. It's just like, well, Captain America, Steve Rogers never had to say he was Captain America. And I think this whole thing is about identity, you know. Who is John Walker? Is the fact that he's had his identity totally ripped from him when he became a grunt and had to go for all the military training. And now he's found something that is unique to him, in that he could be Captain America. He could be this like icon. But the thing is that he's so far gone. And I think that was all captured in this entire fight scene, in my opinion. I don't know what you thought, Sam.
Well, I personally thought the symbolism of the shield was a bit too much for me in this episode overall. And it started with the beginning of this fight, like, give me the shield and shit like that. I did feel that when John Walker turned on the dime, it kind of reminded me back in episode 2, where John Walker was asking Sam to be his wingman, and that was one line too many too. It's always that last fucking line. And in this case, it was the reverse between these two. And I like that. But I don't like the way the symbolism of the shield. I thought it was too fucking much, especially after the fight and fucking Sam's crying over it and shit. What the fuck? It was ridiculous. I thought it was a little bit ridiculous. I did see it from other perspectives, and we will get to that later on, obviously. But overall, with the fight scene itself, I very much enjoyed it. I'm glad no one got fucking killed. What worried me the most is, are these villains going to get fucking killed? And has Marvel learned their fucking lesson? You know, that you can't just one and done these guys. You know, good villains need good development. That's why Zemo was so fucking popular. Anyways, after the fight is over, Torres arrives and Torres arrives and Bucky leaves, and Bucky's going to try and find Zemo. Sam probably thinks that Bucky's going to kill Zemo, but Sam's so like pissed off right now, he doesn't even give a fuck if he does, which is funny. But Torres also mentions that Carly's gone dark and it's going to be really hard to find her. She's an expert in these type of things, which means they'll have to probably wait for her to show up in order to get her. And then when Sam leaves Torres, he leaves him the wings, so you kind of see the origin story for Torres. I'm not sure if you know this, Mondino, but Joaquin Torres is the successor to Falcon. So when Falcon becomes Captain America, Joaquin Torres becomes the Falcon. I'm not sure if you realized that. That's in the comics.
Yeah, I picked up on it and I made a note. Is he going to be the next winged, like, type Avenger type person?
The funny thing is the power broker, whose name is Curtis Jackson in the comics, which is also that's the real life name of 50 Cent. But nevertheless, and that's why I want 50 Cent to be fucking the power broker, because that would be so cool, because his name is fucking Curtis Jackson. But if they create a new character to play the moniker of power broker, well, actually, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the power broker in the comics made Joaquin Torres into the Falcon by genetically splicing him with fucking bird DNA and shit. So he had like real life wings coming out of his fucking skin and shit. I don't think they'll be doing that, but I would love to see what Joaquin Torres brings to the Falcon, what his spin on it will be. But I think he's a bit tech savvy, but that was pretty cool. So in the future, I look forward to that. Anything to say on that before I move on, guys? Okay, Mondino?
I mean, the only thing I've noticed so far about this Joaquin guy is his sole purpose is to tell the audience what's going on. And I'm just hoping that at some point, because I mean, he's only got 2 bits in this episode, and both bits is all about expedition. Nothing there, real character development. I mean, the first bit of character development he's getting is as Falcon's looking back at his wings in a bag and going, "That fucker killed my wings. I don't want him anymore. You take him. It's all yours. I don't care." I think now they need to do something with him.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know how they'll introduce him as the Falcon. Maybe in the next season, if they do a second season of this. Who knows?
But in episode 1, he wanted to tinker with the suit, and Sam's like, "Don't even go near this. This is my baby."
For sure. So John Walker's on trial for what he did in Latvia. And the judges are just going to basically bury his ass. Fucking hell, this thing keeps switching off. John is basically during the course of being given all the, given his rap by the judges. John loses his shit and says, "You fucking made me. You made me. I was a tool for you guys. I did exactly what you said. And when shit goes down, when shit gets bad, you're just going to discard me."
But by the way,
said it. Yeah, go on.
Throughout this entire scene, I could see Kurt Russell throughout his face. I know he is Kurt Russell's son, but here I really saw it. You know, the way that he's looking and the way that
when he's being his most calculating, like when he's being his most calculating, like you guys, you don't want to do this, do you? I'm seeing Snake Plissken. I'm seeing Snake Plissken every time he's being his most calculating and he's talking a bit low and stuff. I'm seeing Snake Plissken, and by the way, I mentioned this to you earlier, boss man, but White Russell has said he will never play Snake Plissken, and I'm really pissed off about this. I heard the word come out of his own fucking mouth. He said it will be career suicide if he ever does it, even though he looks so much like his dad. He's a spitting image of his fucking dad. Yeah, but nevertheless, he'll never fucking play Snake Plissken, which is a shame. But
I can totally understand it, as I said to you in the chat.
I totally understand it. Yeah, but I think there's one of the things he did say that he's worried that people will get on his case and give him shit for that. Personally, I don't think he realizes that there's a lot of people like me who want him to fucking do it, because there's nobody else I can think of who could reprise that role other than him, because he looks like his fucking dad. Anyway,
but the thing is that again, that was very, very close to the bone, because again, there are a lot of soldiers who have been put on trial like that for doing basically what their country has basically told us to do, which is hurt people. But because it was captured on cameras and people objected, "You're not supposed to be doing that," is the only reason that, because he was caught on camera doing something he shouldn't do. And the thing is that there was obviously parallels to a lot of things that the United States have done in the past, like Fallujah and stuff like that, where people have gone to jail for war crimes and all that sort of stuff. It's just
it's nothing more than maybe like a hard done up soldier who knows what it's like to be used and abused and spat out by the system. And John Walker can see it. I mean, there's so much fellatio going on regarding the troops in America, yet they got fucking homeless vets everywhere. Sorry, boss man.
I was just going to say, this next bit I hated.
Anyway, but one second. I'm still going to quickly go on about the trial itself. I did like the way he lost his shit in the trial. I like the way he was arguing, and he made sense. The funny thing is, all the stuff he said absolutely made sense. And instead of having his back, they discarded him. I mean, they get rid of his benefits and everything. The guy's a war hero and all of that shit. Then I love the way he actually fucking walks off before the judges finish speaking as well. Loved it. Before we go on to the next bit, anything you want to say here, Montino?
I mean, I thought this was a nice continuation from the fight sequence before, because in there you see the beginnings of him crumbling, and here, with everything you said about him being pointed as the main culprit, stripped of all of his benefits, even threatened with imprisonment if he continues to do anything to bring the name in disrepute. It's like you just see this man being gutted slowly but surely. And yeah, the guy did a great job of kind of portraying all that emotion, kind of not having a proper outlet and just having this burst of, you created this. I did exactly what you want. It was just nice. It was really great acting, really great storytelling. I just appreciated every element of it. And as you were saying, it's like he at this point he'd given the fuck up before they've even finished speaking. As you said, him walking away, just that look on his face, and that little moment where he just looks back, is like, I'm done with this shit, and then he's gone.
Boss man.
Yeah, as I said, it was a perfectly done thing. When he did that, when he just started walking away before they said anything, he was just like, they won't even listen to me. I was like, you can tell he just had the hit of, they don't even, they won't cover their ass rather than like acknowledge what they did wrong. Is just, yeah.
Well, now we get another contender for who could be the power broker. We get Contesta Valentina Fortina Fiorentina fucking Valentino fucking Gian fucking Versace, whatever the fuck her name is.
Contesta
I had a good look.
Valentina Allegra de Franino, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, Mrs. Carbonara here. She's somebody who's in the comics. Apparently she's been like a double agent. You know, she's a bit like an Agatha Harkness in the sense that she's been bad, she's been good. It looks like she's more on the bad side or the bad grey side, so to speak. Regarding her introduction here, I actually thought she was the lady from Sex and the City. I mentioned that in my review. No, she's from Seinfeld. She's Richard Dreyfuss's daughter, I believe. Julia Dreyfus is the name of the actress. This was supposed to be, I'm not sure if you guys realized in some of the hype for this episode that there was apparently going to be a big, massive cameo. And this was it. This lady, this actress from fucking Seinfeld. Now, she is a renowned actress, but she's not like, you know, she's not the biggest name in Hollywood, so to speak, regarding regular people, unfortunately. But she's there. This is the birth of fucking US agent right here now. I did love the way that she fucking was championing John Walker and she gave him a business card which was blank. Fucking loved it. What did you guys think of that scene? I know I'm not sure you liked it too much, did you, boss man? I'll start with you.
Do you want to start with me?
Yeah, go on. Stop. Give me your problems with it.
I fucking hated it. Right, because like as I said, like I like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but then all of a sudden she starts fast talking. It's like shut up. Like we just come away from one, like, you know, this really poignant scene of like, you know, Joe Walker talking about, like, you know, he doesn't know what he's gonna do because, like, you know, his country's basically shunned him. He doesn't know if he's gonna be able to find his job. If, you know, his wife's basically saying you need to do this and that, and there's this really poignant scene, and then all of a sudden, Julie Louis-Dreyfus comes over and starts fast talking the fuck, and it's like, get the hell off my screen, really. Hated it. Sorry.
Well, she was only there for that moment, so you don't have to worry too much.
I still hated it.
Apparently she's going to be in another thing as well, but I won't spoil that for you, unless you guys want to know. But what about you, Montino? How did you find this moment with John Walker and this lady, and possibly the beginnings of US Agent? How did you find it all?
I have to say, I am a total 180 to Gaz. I mean, I love the moment that Walker was having with his wife, where she was just kind of, there's a bright side to this. Don't worry, we'll find a way through. And then you hear her walking, and you see her, and she's like, "Oh, do I have to be here and do this? Excuse me, I'm going to sit down here. Can you two just move apart?" I love the character, And then the annoyance on this woman's face, the way she introduced herself, all of it was brilliant. I mean, I just loved it. You can call me Val, but don't call me Val. Just say it in your head. It's like as soon as you heard that, you're like, all right, I know what this girl's about. And then she's kind of like, move out my way. I'm going to sit down now. And the look of annoyance on her face when the wife is like, excuse me, who are you? And she's just like, and hands the card, hands that card you said. And I love the fact that one side is black and one side is white. It's almost like they're telling us subliminally that she's not good, she's not bad, she's whatever she needs to be to get it done. And as soon as I saw that card and I heard her introduce herself, I'm saying to myself, you're interested in Walker. You've just given the game away that she's happy he's taken the serum. And you're like, when you think about the other episodes, there was only one person that desperately wanted the super serum, and we never met them. And now she's found someone with the super serum. She has access to him. All of that made me think this has got to be the power broker. I mean, she comes across as this powerful entity, the black and white business card, the disdain for being challenged in any way, shape, or form, and just saying the best decision you've made isn't even a decision he's made yet. She's telling him his best decision is going to be answering the phone when she calls.
Yeah, I love
like
it.
She had to correct herself and say, "Oh, sorry, yes, the second best decision. Your beloved wife, who's annoying the fuck out of me on the side here, is the best decision."
She wasn't even saying anything.
But but this looks to me like this could be obviously the setup for the Thunderbolts. I mean, maybe she's Thaddeus's right hand woman. You know what I mean? So
I won't be watching that show then.
But well, I mean, like you see already, like just with this show alone, you know, with Zemo there as well, and we'll get to him a little bit later. But you know, there are some Thunderbolt setups here as well, and you know, having someone, I just don't want this guy to fucking die, and that's just what worries me a lot. With
No, I agree with you. It's just that this particular moment ruined what was a real poignant moment. If like he's on that when he's like in wherever he is, like seeing Lamar's family, and she paid out a number and started fast talking, then fair enough. But the fact she just did it then just took away from the poignancy of that particular moment for me.
Well,
when the iron's hot, that's what
they've got to do the setup, boss man, for what's to come. They've got to sow those seeds, you know what I mean? And this was a seed sower for what's to come, because you know his journey's going to end after this. Whatever happens to John Walker at the end of this season, in my opinion, he won't continue that arc. I think it's going to continue with this lady. Whatever happens next with him.
I mean, his whole story arc is to this moment.
Yeah.
Captain America and having that stripped away and going through a nervous breakdown
and becoming US agent.
The loss of his sidekick, his Falcon. To you know what I mean?
Well, that was the guy who kept him grounded, in my opinion. If Lamar was the guy who kept him steady, like Lamar was his conscience, and without Lamar, he's gonna go on the deep end, in my opinion. But let's just move on here. Now we have a very stupid moment, in my opinion. This is criminals returning to the scene of the crime, the Flag Smashers, back in their old lair, which has been taken over by the GRC, who, by the way, the GRC, we haven't seen fuck all of the GRC really in this shit, and we get them at the end, finally, a bit of the fucking... They should be way more prominent in this, in my opinion. You could tell that the edits they did because of COVID has ruined this show to... Not ruined the show, but this show could have been so much better if they stuck with what they planned, in my opinion, and I think so many stuff has been shifted around.
Well, maybe like we see throughout the show, like hints at what GRC are doing. So maybe like we see them like operating in the country that the Flag Smashers are in.
But we're getting the military parts of it. We're never seeing the actual top of the organization of it, and this is the only. And we only got a glimmer of it near the end of this episode. But I'm going to move on. The point is, what I didn't like about this is that the Flag Smashers are deliberating their next move, and they're doing it in the fucking area that has been an area where they should not even be anywhere near, because you know criminals return to the scene of the crime. Surely they would be having people, you know, GRC, whoever it may be, having some fucking sort of presence around there to make sure those fucking, if a criminal comes back, that they can fucking deal with them. But so I didn't like any of that. Like them coming back to that scene.
There was only one thing about that made sense.
Yeah.
Not them going back to scene of the crime, but the only thing that I picked up was amongst the group, no one was really following the leader's authority. They were kind of listening, but you could kind of get the vibe that they're no longer.
No, I disagree, Ray. I disagree, Ray. One of them is, and that's the long-haired guy. The long-haired guy definitely is. But we saw when she was in New York, she fucking whistled, and all these motherfuckers like John Wick.
But the people that were around her that you've seen in the last few episodes.
Yeah, I agree.
In like episode 2, they were all like going crazy, helping out, getting all the medication.
Yeah, but
then as this episode has passed, everyone's kind of had this more standoffish approach to her, other than the guy that got killed and the guy with the long hair that you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the long hair guy
showing a bit like, I'm not sure.
The long hair guy is definitely the version of Descent, but I just also looking at the fact that the ones around are like your regular flag smashers who have gone all ups and downs. They've lost a couple of their friends in battle. You know, it can make you change your minds, but I do think she still has an influence because of what happened at the end, and she got a whole bunch of new flag smashers in New York. But I want to progress here. We're in Sokovia now, and Zemo is there at the Sokovia Memorial, and Bucky arrives armed, and it seems that Bucky's going to kill him. You know, because he's an assassin at the end of the day. But Bucky was fucking with Zemo. He wasn't going to kill him at all. He puts the gun to his head, and Zemo wasn't willing to accept his fate. By the way, he had no problem. He was willing to kill himself.
He didn't flinch. He was just like, okay.
Yeah. There's not much more for him to do, really, which is why he probably wanted to be with his family as well. But you know, he doesn't. He fakes him. The Wakandans arrive. They take him away, and he's going to go to the raft. And the raft, by the way, is the jail in the ocean, which we see in Civil War. That's the raft. So that's where they're taking him. It's kind of weird in the way that there's no repercussions for Sam and Bucky for springing Zemo out of jail in a fucking other country and shit. It's weird, but nevertheless, he's going back to jail in a different one. And then Bucky asks Io for a favor, and I'll get to that favor a little bit later. But what did you think? This is the end of Zemo by the looks of things. I don't think we'll be seeing him in the next episode. I think his arc is done for this show, but he's not dead. So, what do you think of Zemo so far? And do you think we'll see him in the next episode, or is he done? I'll start with you, Mondino.
For me, this was the low point in the episode. I mean, they don't really have time to focus on Zemo. So I kind of felt like they had a bit of tension, as you say, with the whole gun and the faking out. And the only thing that came from it, I think, was the only highlight to that scene was Zemo turning around to Bucky and being like, you know, I want your forgiveness. I did what I had to do. Please, let's bygones be bygones. And that was like, that was the only thing that came out of it. And even that was at a stretch, not even that great.
Well, he kind of realized that not everyone who is a super soldier, because people mention Steve being the prime example, but Bucky's another example because he was brainwashed when he was killing people. Yeah, but he is still a super soldier with the serum going through him, and he's not a fucking maniac. As James Buchanan Barnes, he is not that person. You know what I mean? So he's another exception to the rule, as far as I'm concerned. And I think maybe Zemo saw that in a way, and he was just done. There was nothing else to go for. But sorry, Ray. I just feel that he wasn't enough of a protagonist antagonist amongst the group. You know what I mean? I think there should be more from him. Like, when's he going to fuck him over and stuff? But that never really happened. But anyway, if you got any more to say, Ray, before I pass it on to Bossman?
I mean, when you talk about repercussions, the only repercussion there was Bucky being told by the Wakandans, listen, White Wolf, stay out of Wakanda for some time because, your stock is down. We don't want you around here anymore, White Wolf. If you do, you're going to get fucked.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That for me was one of the only type of repercussions you saw out of the whole getting Zemo out of prison.
Bossman?
Over to you.
mean, I disagree with Ray a little bit. I did think that this was fine because it was like it was a bit. It took the tone a bit down again because we see Zemo looking at the memorial and thinking about his family, and then like when Bucky phoned up, I knew he wasn't going to shoot him because like he's no longer that guy. And then like as I said, when he was taking off, I was like, all right. I said the least of closure for what happens to Zemo, because I mean, if he was still out there, we'd all be going, "Oh, what's he doing now?" But again, like Zemo's done, everything he wanted to accomplish, he basically accomplished. He got rid of the super soldier serum, which is what he wanted to do. So I think it's just a good closure that we now know he's with the Wakandans. I thought it's like in the Wakandan prison, but he said he's going to the raft. All right, that's the introduction of the raft then.
Yeah, so that's what they said. They said they'll take it to the raft. The Wakandans, AO in particular. But we're now back with Sam, and he's back in America, in Baltimore to be more precise. He goes to pay Isaiah Bradley a visit, and he's willing to give him the shield because Sam now has the shield after taking it, obviously, from Walker at the beginning of the episode. Isaiah doesn't want it. He said he used to be a lot like Sam as well, but his eyes have opened because of the treatment he got. As we all know, America was a lot worse for people of color back then. It's still not great now, to tell you the truth. He, like Sam told him, "Why weren't you Captain America?" And Isaiah responds by saying, "They were never going to make me Captain America. Are you fucking kidding?" Even Sam should know better to ask such a stupid fucking question, in my opinion. He explained how he was experimented on and his wife was lied to that he was dead. He straight up tells Sam that the US will never make you a Captain America, and any self-respecting black man shouldn't want to be Captain America. That was deep, and I fucking loved it because it left Sam really conflicted as well. Because as much as he understands where he's coming from, he knew Steve Rogers as well, and he knew what a good man he was. Yeah, if the ideal of if goodness was created as a human being, it would be fucking Steve Rogers. So he's very conflicted. He understands Isaiah. But he sees it from a different perspective as well. I loved all of this. What did you guys think? I'll start off with you guys.
It was awesome because again, the thing that we got.
1 second. Continue without me.
No, sorry. Because what the episode was about the fact that Isaiah Bradley had basically had the opposite done to him what was done to Steve Rogers. Because you got me, Steve Rogers when he first started wasn't actually fighting anything. He was literally like he was more of like a poster boy. He was like an Uncle Sam type. He was like Captain America wants you to be this. Instead of actually fighting anything. And it's just you just see that what this 30 years of torture did to this poor man. That he had all these like scars on his chest, and you could tell it literally broke him. It's like literally going, "Would you ever thought they were going to make a black man Captain America?" And he literally says, "Well, things have changed now. You can report what happened to you." And it's like thinking, "Well, we can't do that." I was like thinking, "Well, Manson Bar happened, and that was apologized for." So I think that we have to remember that there's two Americas. There's white America, which Steve Rogers belonged to, which is endorsed him as being Captain America. He had trading cards, he had posters, he had all this sort. And then we had the black Captain America, who had none of that, who was a spirited one and taken as basically treated as a human urinal for 30 years. I was like thinking, I said, and I think that for a lot of people of color is their experience. And I think that we who don't live in America have got to understand that for Americans, they're very conflicted on America. Like, well, they're American. They don't feel the same as like white America feels about it. And I think those are very complex feelings to express going through. But for me, I think it expressed why Isaiah Bradley was just as much Captain America as Steve Rogers had, because he didn't quit, he didn't falter. While he was experiment on, he never dealt, which is the same thing that Steve Rogers went. It was just by his own country rather than bloody Hydra or something. That's what I think.
I mean, this section of it was just chock-a-block. It was filled with so much information. As you say, they kind of portray Isaiah as the opposite Captain America. He he didn't want the serum. They tested it on him, and it turned out it worked on him. When his troops got caught in battle, and the US military were saying they were just going to blow up the guys, escaping the base, going to the troops, getting them out of captivity and bringing them back. The parallels with Captain America, the First Avenger, it's like for like, but the polar opposite. The same things are happening. Except when Captain America, First Avenger, comes back, he gets rewarded, whereas Isaiah gets put in prison. And then to have 30 years of becoming a petri dish and to just be experimented on, for his own wife to have no contact, to be told he's dead. I mean, he's lost his troops, he's lost his life, he's lost everything. And it's like the exact opposite of Captain America, because he does the same stuff, he goes into the ice, everyone he's ever known is dead. So the two have the exact same story almost, but one is done very positively, one is done very negatively. One person comes out with a happy ending, the other person comes out just feeling bitter, and the only thing he's got is his grandson and his garden. He's, as far as the American government's concerned, he's dead. And you could see him there, like almost not pleading, but in a very strong manner, making it clear to Sam Wilson, I'm dead. I don't want anyone to know I'm alive. The moment someone knows I'm alive, I'm a dead man. Let me live out the rest of my years in peace and quiet. I've been through pain and torture. This is my moment just to kind of rest. And you can see how withered and I mean, at what point did he get the serum? And has he been alive for like 60, 70, 80, 90 years? Is he as old as Sam? Is he as old as Steve Rogers would have been? None of that's really explained.
Well,
and
from what you...
Sorry. Go on.
No, I was to say, from what you were saying is, I think you said like he was in the Vietnam War, so that would have been end of the 60s, so he would have been at least about, it's going to be at least about in his 60s, if not his 70s.
And he looked like he's been through the war zone. I mean, when he showed the scars on his side, it almost looked like he was branded for going to capture his fellow troops when he brought them back. Yeah, we were just saying that there's this deep parallel between Steve Rogers and Isaiah. They both have the polar opposites stories, one with a happy ending, one with a you got fucked over by the American ending. And yeah, it was just so rich, and I absolutely loved this part of the story.
Well, let me quickly mention here that Isaiah and Steve, both back when they were in their own times, Steve saved some GIs and he got rewarded for it.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were saying.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So I'm absolutely out of breath. My brother rang me up, had to do some shit, but it's been done.
Yeah, I was going to say, but the thing is, the other thing that I didn't agree with was the fact saying, oh no, what's him? I saw it. It's like, dude, Manzana happened in the 1940s and they apologized for it in the 1990s. I'm sure they'll apologize for branding you for 30 bloody years.
Yeah, I mean, he has gone through a lot of shit, hasn't he? He was in prison for 30 years. Sorry, catching my breath here. So Sam goes to, after finishing with Isaiah, he goes to visit his sister and his nephews. Sarah, his sister that is, wasn't able to sell the boat, the Wilson family boat. And so Sam decides to call in some favors because we saw at the beginning of the season with them distributing food and stuff like that. Do you remember? Sam and his sister? So the Wilson family have done a lot for the neighborhood and their community. So Sam feels like it's time to collect on some of these favors, and he starts ringing around. And, Sam being an Avenger as well does help. So everyone in the community comes down to help. And also, so does Bucky Barnes. And I love how he introduced himself. Like they brought these two guys, they bring Sam a brand new boat engine, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to pick it up. And then Bucky just grabs it and then puts it down again. It's just so brilliant. Great introduction. He also brings a suitcase with him. Sorry, go
And
on.
also, he starts really flirting with Sam's sister.
Gonna get to all of that. Gonna get to all of that. I was gonna finish this bit and then we can talk about it all. So Bucky also brings with him a suitcase. This is the favor he asked for from AO when he delivered Zemo, and this suitcase now belongs to Sam. And he tells Sam, "Look, just sign for it." I don't know where the fuck he signed. He never signed for shit. But sign for it, and I'll be on my way. At that particular point, something springs. A leak springs, and Bucky quickly goes to help Sam with it. And then Bucky stays to help Sam, and you can see the beginning of their friendship start to blossom here, because before they were working with each other for the sake of particular ideals, but this is now them becoming friends a little bit. I will get to more about their friendship in a second, but now we can talk about this little section here. What did you think of it all with Sam getting back to his family and the community and Bucky paying him a visit? What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Mondino.
I kind of felt like the producers of the show needed to kind of close off that story arc, and they kind of did it all in one 10-minute or one 7 or 8 minute little area. It's like as you mentioned, the Sam's like, okay, how can I actually be useful, because I can't get money or loan from a bank. So let me just get on the blower. Let me use my name, Wilson, Falcon. You hear everyone on the phone like, "Yay, I got time for you. Let me come and help you out. The Wilsons have done stuff for us. Yeah, it's time for us to pay it back." That, for me, that first bit kind of felt a little bit forced or quick. Like they just had to quickly put something together. Just this montage of those phone calls. But then my favorite part, as Gaz mentioned, was Bucky. When the music starts playing and he's like, "Hey, I'm Bucky. What's your name?" That was like, you could see him getting back in his stride, and that's the first kind of inkling that Bucky's on the mend. And that's kind of like, you see Sam's face. Are you flirting with my sister? Oh no, no! And it's like the way that whole thing ends with Bucky like, "Okay, I'm going now. I'm gonna go stay in the airport." Mondino the thief. What's that all about?
No idea.
But it was just nice to see the relationship starting to build. And it was almost like Bucky was testing the waters, like, "I'm going to go now. It'd be nice if I could hang around a bit longer, but, I know I'm not welcome. We're only helping each other out," type stuff. No, I really enjoyed that section, but I kind of felt like it was a little bit like they had to just close out that little story arc as quick as they can, just so they can move on to something else.
For sure. Guys?
It was all right, as I said. The worst bit, and again, if I never see these guys again, I'll be 2,000 years too soon, was Sarah's children. If I never, I mean, and it's nothing to do with colour, it's to do with the fact that they're annoying kids. The rest
You
of
didn't like them. I love their kids. I love their kids. They were dorks, man. They were nerds, man. They had glasses on and stuff. They were nerdy kids, man. I like the kids a lot. They were good kids as well. They're brought up well.
Plus, I mean, the thing is, we've got more character development for Sam. The fact that his sister says, I really care about you, blah blah blah, and we get to see how much Sam is taking serious being Captain America, where he's like trying to do everything that Steve did with doing doing cartwheels while throwing the flaming shield.
You've gone way too far, boss man. You've gone way too far, mate. Come on, man. I'm just talking about these guys arriving on the boat, man. Come on, you're talking about shit way ahead. I haven't even got there yet.
I do like the fact that Bucky came in to help him, And the thing is, he doesn't notice himself by lifting something's clear off, and he's just like, he's helping out and stuff like that. And he's just like, you get to see that there's been like real bonding, especially over this. That this is a private matter for Sam. Bucky could have not done anything, but you can tell that Bucky wanted to come and be with his friend, and you literally did what I say to each other. You're now my friend, but you can tell that there's still a bit of tendency there.
There's a bit standoffish still. Now we got Mondino. Have I got to you yet? I've already talked to you about this. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
All right, so we're back with Walker now, and he visits Lamar's parents. he tells him, "Yeah, I killed the guy who killed Lamar," which is not the case. But I don't know. There is an argument to be made if that was the right thing to say or not, because it is giving his parents closure, even though they weren't told the truth. And he's going to be obviously living with the fact that he lied to them and stuff like that. You know, it's funny in a way. I'm really glad I thought to myself, why am I thinking like this? Because at one point, I thought Walker was going to go absolute ape shit and fucking kill fucking Lamar's parents because of the fucking serum and his nuts and stuff. I'm so with that when she was like holding his face. Lamar's mum was holding Walker's face like that, and she hugged him and stuff. I really thought, oh fuck, he's gonna kill her any second, break her neck or something like that. Super soldier, you know. But luckily, none of that shit fucking happened. I'm so fucking glad. I don't know why I was thinking like that. I'm a fucking idiot. But it was a very unusual moment. He left and walked along the street, sees his fucking picture on a billboard and shit like that. You know, he's in serious distress. What did you guys think? I'll start with you guys.
I thought it was great, just the way that we see that the way that his Lamar's parents are looking at him, and I assumed that was his sister or girlfriend. That's the way she was looking at him.
Yeah,
well, I was going to assume sister, by the way, that she was looking at him, that she was blaming him but not saying it. The way that he was like saying, and they were saying, oh, how proud he was that you're Captain America and stuff like that. I was like, oh shit, well, when they're pushing, because they're really pushing this guy to live up to the standard that Lamar put him to, and you can tell he's really sending his character in a different way. I really love this scene because of that.
But Mondina?
I mean, this one, it kind of felt like they were backing John Walker into a corner. He didn't feel comfortable saying that he killed the wrong person. He turns to the parents and say, "I couldn't let the person that killed your son get away with it. I had to take care of that then and there. I hope you don't mind. I hope it doesn't kind of diminish your respect for me." And as you're saying, Mum comes in for the hug and just, "Oh, Lamar loved you so much. He was so proud to be by your side." And as the family are talking and kind of building him up after he's just lied to them, it's like he's getting deeper and deeper into this hole. There's no way out. I mean, it had its moments, and you could just kind of see despair kind of coming into that whole situation for John Walker.
So we get to Sharon Carter now. This is the only scene we have of her in this episode. She's still back at Madripoor doing her wheeling and dealing, and she's on the phone, and I believe she's talking to Batroc the Leaper, who we see later on in the episode. But that was it with Sharon Carter. Is she the power broker? I want to quickly talk about the power broker now, because there's a lot of guessing on who the power broker is. The favorite is Sharon Carter. Thaddeus Ross is another one. Now this new lady, this fucking Carmine Falcone, or whatever the fuck her name is. Yeah, she's now possible power broker too. I'll tell you this: I don't want a power broker reveal now. We've gone so far into this show. The reveal of the power broker for me be very underwhelming. I want the power broker to stay anonymous at the end of this season. I don't know how you guys feel. I'll start with you, Bondino.
This scene is what I was sort of referring to earlier with the backstabbing in the episode, because I on the second viewing I had the subtitles on, and when the French guy is like going off on one in the background, it goes Batroc speaking in French. So like, hold on a second, Batroc's coming into this, and then a little bit later there's something else that comes from that, and suddenly you're like, ooh, hold on a second. If Sharon Carter is getting this guy involved, it's not until later in the episode you suddenly come to realize that she's working against Sam Wilson. At this point, you're looking at this and going, she's doing something, but we don't know why she's doing it. And it's almost like because I don't think she's a power broker, because of later on when you talk about Carly doing her flag smasher stuff. Suddenly you make the connection between the fact that BlackRock is involved in both of those scenes, and yet Sharon Carter's doing that for the good of Carly. So it's almost like Carly is involved with Sharon. Sharon seems to be doing favors, or at least getting intel or doing something. So I kind of get the feeling that as the power broker wanted Carly, and you kind of get the vibe that Sharon had the keys to finding Carly the entire time. So it's kind of like you're kind of starting to see some allegiances forming all through that really understanding that BlackRock is being brought in via Sharon. Sharon knows BlackRock wants to kill Falcon. She's kind of giving him the keys to do so. So what does this mean about Sharon and her overall story arc?
It's very I know what you mean. It's really confusing who she could be regarding, like, reason why she could be but the power broker, the fact that she's surrounded by all this lavish shit, and she's got a lot of tech on her and stuff like that. She's walking around all these henchmen and nothing's going on with her. At the same time, the reason why I don't think she could be the power broker is that why would she lead Sam and Bucky to her golden goose and get this guy killed and let them go? And why wouldn't she just kill Sam and Bucky there and then when she had the chance?
One more thing to that. When she led Sam to the to the guy that created the super soldier serum, she's there killing the guys that protect him. Yeah. So that's why I don't think she's a power broker.
I think she's more of a flag smasher.
She was beating them up. She was killing them.
I think she's more of a flag smasher than the power broker, in my opinion.
I definitely think she's not. I don't think she's running Carly, but I think her and Carly
are working
have
alongside.
Some type of connection.
Yeah, she's more, because look, you look at her character arc in this show, and you realize they treated her like shit. She's more likely to be with them than to be the fucking power broker. But I'm going to throw it to you now, boss man. All this power broker shit, I really thought I was going to get a reveal this episode. I put my bollocks on a reveal this episode. It made sense at the end of this episode. Boom, I'm the power broker. Down, 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 down. That's how the episode was going to end, yeah? But no, we didn't get that at all. So what do you think about all this power broker bollocks? Let me know.
Okay, so I'm actually glad that they get it off, because I think that who the power broker is, and maybe their story should be another season, because I think they've gone too far with this flag smasher and that sort of story to sort of like dilute it with this story of the power broker. I think that's good to be built up in this, but then what's the word? You cement it around this. So like, again, I agree with what Dino just said. That I think that it's more likely that Sharon is a flag smasher at this point. The fact that she wants to, or she has something against Sam. Like, I don't know if Sam fucked her over at one point.
Well, because Sam got a pardon and she's still on the fucking run. I mean, maybe she's a bit pissed. Like, you didn't even fucking help me, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but what's the line about hell have no fury about like a woman scorned? Maybe that's what it is. But as I said, it's good to see George St. Pierre. And I also like the fact he said, "My name's George." I was like, really? Anyway, when he came back in, I was like, all right, fine. And then we see like it sort of like it pan up to the New York skyline. I thought that was cool.
Okay, so that moment with Sharon was very brief, but we're now back at the Wilson household, and Bucky wakes up and he sees Sarah's kids playing with the shield and stuff like that. And he goes for a walk and he meets Sam at the docks, and they continue working on the boats. And then later on, they start playing with the shield. And this is a really cool moment because it really like Bucky really finally understood what it means for Sam to be Captain America, because he only looked at it from his perspective. Like, Steve told you to take the fucking shield. Now take the fucking shield, yeah? And he never thought to himself, well, what does it mean for Sam? He never thought like that at all. And he finally understood what it means for a black man to take on the shield. And I really appreciated that. That was some good writing, in my opinion.
But I think the thing is that, like, the Isaiah Bradley sort of thing clarified his own emotions about it, why he was so conflicted. Like, but the thing is that for me, Captain America or America in general is not a skin color; it's an ideal. And the thing is
but
that
that's easy
Captain
for you to say, boss man. But he's a black guy in a world where he gets treated like a second-class citizen.
No,
But
I
segregation
understand.
was
I
66
understand.
years ago.
Oh, all right, but the thing is that from my perspective, and again, I speak as somebody with this skin implementation, even though it's in a different country. It shouldn't matter what colour you are. If you again, it should matter what your attitude is. Because again, the reason John Walker was not Captain America was not because he's white; it's because he's an asshole.
Bossman, you're stating the obvious. Bossman, you are stating the absolute obvious because we all agree with that. It shouldn't matter. Unfortunately, it does matter for a lot of people. Like when Sam Wilson was given the shield at the end of the Endgame, all the people who are racist were saying woke because it's woke because a black guy was handed the shield and not fucking Bucky Barnes. People are saying that. That's apparently woke because Sam Wilson fucking got it. You know, so it does bother some people, unfortunately, and I'm glad they played on that. And I'm glad they answered it, you know. And in an ideal world, skin color wouldn't matter. But Sam Wilson, being a black man in America, knows, especially a black man in the South, knows skin color does fucking matter at this particular point in society because a lot of people will give a shit about him being Captain America. And I very much appreciate that Bucky Barnes understood that. You know what I mean? A man from the 40s understood that. So that was a very good. We do get a moment though, like when they bro clapped, you know, Predator style, you know, like Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, yeah. I fucking almost went into tears because you finally knew that they were friends now. They were proper friends at this particular moment. You know, like Bucky had to go his own direction and stuff like that. He wasn't going to fucking live with Sam, was he? But they parted as friends. And he said, look, if Carly fucking pops up, let me know and I'll be there. It was a great moment. The friendship was cemented at that particular moment. What did you guys think with them two discussing each other's problems, as well as obviously Sam telling him how to deal with his fucking nightmare issue, which I thought was a bit weird. But what do you guys think? I'll start off with you, Mondino.
I thought this was a great little bit of character development between the two of them. There was two things that stood out to me. First was the callback to Avengers Endgame, where Bucky turns around and says, I didn't get butthurt when Steve told me the plan that he was going to give Sam the shield. And it's kind of like, okay, that's answered that question that's always been out in the ether. Did Bucky know that Steve Rogers was going to go back in time and live with Peggy? And for me, that kind of, if Steve told Bucky, he wasn't going to give him the shield, he was going to give it to someone else, then he must have told him the rest of it. So that kind of, I like the way that little quip was kind of, or that story arc, or that question's being dealt with. And then the therapy session where you see at the beginning of the series where Bucky's being shown as this guy with PTSD and he's going to therapy and it's not getting him anywhere. But then 5 minutes with Sam in the back garden throwing the shield around, almost like they were playing frisbee with that damn thing. It was bouncing between the two of them. And just having Bucky kind of realize I almost had myself going the right way, but I had just the wrong kind of mentality. Rather than just trying to clear the name of the Winter Soldier, he gave him the idea that now he's going to go back and tell the people he's wronged about what happened to their family members. And it made me think back to episode 1 where you see Bucky and the old Chinese man and their relationship. And Bucky's like, I want to tell you that I killed your son so you know what happened. Like, he's almost as if Sam's now given him the instruction. Okay, you know what you got to do. And it's almost like now we know almost what Bucky's got to do. And it's almost like in episode 6, you know there's going to be some discussion, maybe right at the beginning of the episode now, where Bucky's got to go and have that conversation with that old Chinese guy. And it's kind of that part of the story. I thought, yeah, this was a nice little way of pushing Bucky in the right direction to leaving the Winter Soldier behind, moving away from his PTSD. And it was a bromance moment where the two of them, as you said, Bucky respected Sam for his decision and is respecting his decision for kind of deciding to take up the mantle. Because you can kind of see at this point, Sam's like, I'm playing with the shield. I'm comfortable with it. I'm not looking at it like it's something holding me back. I want it now. and with Sam getting Bucky going, it was almost like this was the perfect little beginning of their relationship. Does any of that make sense?
Yeah. It was good. By the way, no more therapy sessions for Bucky. By the way, that never really came back to haunt him. Bossman.
Captain America got rid of those sessions.
Oh
Remember
yes,
in
okay, fair
episode
enough.
2.
Fair enough. Bossman. So like when you saw their friendship, emerge at the end of their bro clap and all of that, how did that make you feel, man? But I almost fucking was in tears, to tell you the truth.
No, I thought it was also it was cementing the bond that they formed over these, because they started out as, I wouldn't say enemies, but more like they're very adversarial, and then throughout the season they've just got closer and closer and closer as friends, and then they got to the moment that they were almost going to see friends and they didn't see it. It's like they're still not comfortable with that, and I hope that season that part 6 is then finally be saying, you're my friend now. You're my new Steve. You're the person that I will die to protect. Because we can see the bond that they've obviously developed. So I like that, and I do agree with what Dino just said about that now he's going away to get that. The only thing that I'm going to say, it will suck if they do this, if it's in any way that Chinese guy disables him in not being able to help Sam, help with the GDC building. That's going to be bollocks, because I'm sorry, the whole thing has been him being okay with saying to them, look, I did this, it wasn't me, it was this other person. And the thing is, if that happens, I'm going to be cross.
Look, personally, I think when he meets it's Japanese, by the way, that guy. But when he meets that guy, I think it's like having to resolve that issue, telling him that I killed your son. I think that's going to open up personally, in the real world, that would open up a can of worms more than resolve anything. You're not resolving jack shit. Okay, I killed your son and now I'm going to walk away now. Or can we still go for lunch next week? I mean, it's just not going to resolve jack shit, is it?
No. But the point is, he's going to resolve something for the Japanese guy, because he's going to hit the point they were making in episode 1 was he didn't get any understanding of why his son got caught up in it, and that was holding him back. So Bucky being able to go to him and say, this is why your son ended up being like this, not because of any fault of his own. He wasn't involved in anything. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I couldn't have any witnesses. So that's going to be like more of a way of letting that guy move on with his life, rather than being held back by the not knowing.
Yeah, fair enough. So we're now on to our Rocky montage of the episode. Sam, after a little chat with his sister, starts training with the shield a little bit more, and you see him initially he's fucking up, he's not throwing it properly and shit like that. But as he trains and he builds his body up and stuff like that, he's throwing it around, he's doing flips and everything. Just a regular human being, by the way, no serum going through him, just a highly trained man. And I loved him throwing that shield around and him training and stuff. Gave me goosebumps. What did you guys think? I'll start off with you, boss man.
It was awesome sauce, because he was literally like, you saw him like, he couldn't quite get the emotion, or he couldn't quite get how to do it. Like, he kept him like going past him, like either to the left or to the right. And then like he would like, you see him running and he would like do like somersaults and stuff like that. And he was like, and we got to see like his pure athleticism. I mean, the thing is that he looked phenomenal doing it. I don't know how much of that is legitimate and how much of that is CGI, but it looked legit that he was doing.
He was a stunt man at one point.
Yeah, I'm sure most of that is stunt. But like as I said, it still looked pretty cool doing it when he did the cartwheels back and forth and stuff like that. I thought that was awesome. He's even the TOD goes around the trees and he catches it. That's so cool. And it's like he's finally ready to accept that he is Captain America. Awesome stuff.
I personally would be too scared to catch that thing without thinking that my fucking hands are gonna get like, I'm gonna catch it. Like, even if you try to catch it perfectly, like your hand's gonna come off, from the force of it and stuff. I mean, that thing, cuts through fucking trees and shit. We saw it earlier. Oh god. I mean, I would have to wear some major padded gloves if I was gonna try and catch that shit personally. But it was very cool. I mean, I loved every moment of it. But we're now back with the flag smashers. Carly has got.
Hold on.
Sorry. I apologize.
You actually missed out a bit. where Sam and Sarah are back on the boat when they're doing the final paint job, and before they paint over the parents' name, and you finally get a resolution but you get a resolution to their story, because at first in episode 1, the two of them are kind of adversarial, but now they've found each other and they're doing. They're actually back on. They're in their moment, and I like seeing Sarah understand Sam and Sam understanding Sarah, and that just kind of that tension that was there in episode 1 just being gone.
I guess
that was awesome.
I kind of brushed over it because it was just sibling stuff, isn't it? You know what I mean? But it was resolved very quickly. She obviously respects him because he's trying to save the world and he's trying to save their fucking home. You know what I mean?
More than that, she accepts that he can go out into the world, save the world, and come back and save the family. Whereas in the first episode, it's like, you go out and save the world. Don't care about your family. We will.
I just want to quickly also, before I move on to the flag smashes, I want to quickly say what Cousin Cheeto's saying here. I thought it was funny. He and Bucky were throwing the shield just fine, and then when he was screwing up. Yeah, there are differences, by the way. I mean, like they were like throwing it. He was like throwing it like you would throw like a ball in the park. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're throwing his shield, and the way Sam was doing it was a little bit different. But I also noticed with John Walker that when he had the serum, the way he threw the shield was far more impressive. It felt like it was much harder when you threw it on that flag smasher before you killed him. So I feel that when you got the serum in you, you can throw the shield harder. You know, you can generate more force out of it as well at the same time. Okay, so with the flag smashes, Carly has now got Batroc the Reaper. The Leaper. Sorry, I am so happy to see this guy back. Yeah, he's a favorite of mine. He's a favorite of Cheeto's as well, I believe. Now Carly's got a lieutenant, the guy with the long hair. He doesn't like the fact that they're getting criminal now involved in their organization, and Batroc's got a nice little suitcase of terrorist goodies as well, explosives and God knows what. But Carly's been tells her long hair friend, "You listen. You know, we're criminals anyway, so what the fuck? We might as well fucking join them." Now, Batroc basically wants nothing to do with their cause. He only wants Falcon. Carly promises him that he'll get Falcon. And I love Batroc the Reaper in this whole little moment. I don't think the actor realizes he's not actually a proper actor. He's a parkour martial artist type geezer, French guy. And I don't think he realizes how fucking funny he is, yeah? Like his little moments like, bonjour, mon ami. And he opens up the suitcase, voila, and like that. It's like I'm fucking laughing and stuff. His French mannerisms were having me in stitches. I fucking love Batroc the Leaper. I want Batroc the Leaper all the fucking time. Awesome character. What did you guys think of the return of Batroc the Leaper? I'll start with you guys.
Well, it's GSP, so I'm always a fan when he comes on. So because he's incredible anyway. I mean, do you know who he is?
I know he's like a parkour guy and shit like that.
He used to be in MMA. He used to be like a UFC fighter.
Oh, is he a martial artist? Okay, fair enough. My bad.
Man, I thought it was our ears. They were just
kind he's also from Canada.
How good is his English? His English is good, yeah?
He's from Canada.
Yeah, I know, but I actually knew one person I used to work with who was French Canadian, and their English was shit. I couldn't believe it, man. It was the first French Canadian I ever come across who had really shit English. She struggled with it, so I was just wondering if Batroc does, but I guess not. He seemed okay when he did speak his English lines. It was a bit weird. He was jumping between the languages and stuff like that, but nevertheless, always happy to see this guy, man.
I was happy to see GSP back again. Anyway. I like, and he's super intense. He's just like, "I'm gonna kill that fucking bastard," and it's like, yes, GSP, of course you do. And he's just like, it took me back to his UFC games, like, because I used to be a fan when he was in it, and he was just like great. He had the same sort of mannerisms and stuff like that. Like, he was just looking, the way he looked at Carly, he looked like he wanted to rip her head off. Like literally, he was just like standing there going. I was literally
US agent was born today. Okay, block of US agent Nerd Nation. Oh, okay. Block is. They look similar. Yeah, fair enough.
I thought it was also the way that he came in and he was just like threatening and stuff like that. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, that's what I think. Anyway, what do you think, Bonsino?
I was fearful they weren't going to bring back because he had such a small part in Captain America. What was it? The second one.
He was in this show, dude. He was in the
No. I'm
first
getting
episode.
to it. It's like he had a very small part there. And then he had a tiny, minuscule part at the beginning of episode 1, where Sam had to duel with his team. And then it's like they then leave him alone, and you don't hear from him or see from him. And it's now episode 5, and you're like, come on, if you're going to use him, why haven't you introduced him? And then to have him brought back in, it's like, oh, nice. They're going to get him involved properly in the next episode and hopefully beyond. So I kind of was like, yeah, I really wanted them to bring him back. And I was sort of anticipating that they weren't, considering how late we are in the show. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's like the way that him, it's like when he turns to Carly and goes, all right, I'm here to work. What are we doing? And she's like, don't worry, I got you covered. And she plays with her phone, and suddenly everyone's there ready to go.
I just hope they don't Captain Phasma him when he fights Falcon, because I think Falcon's main fight might be with John Walker, who is Captain America. It'll be the Captain America showdown. And so I do feel that Batroc might be a starter. If anything, I think Batroc will be better off fighting someone like Bucky. That'll be a much better, them two going against each other would be much more appetizing, as far as I'm concerned. But going back to the culmination of this episode now, Torres, he gives Sam a call. He is regarding a potential terrorist attack, and then apparently there's some flag smasher traces being left in New York, and Sam immediately assumes that a terrorist attack is going to be going down in New York. And then he opens up his suitcase, and you can see that the look of not anticipation, but fear in his face. I can't think of another word, like there's a whole bunch of emotions. And sorry, Bossman. One second, Bossman. 1 second. Before he puts on that suit, it makes me wonder that, I've said this earlier, he has been the Falcon and he's totally fine being the Falcon, but being Captain America, he's shitting his fucking pants. Bossman, I'm passing it to you now.
No, I was going to say, yeah, the way it's treated was great. As I said, we see the box there and he's not really opened it. And he goes over to open it and he slowly opens it, and you see his face just like, you can tell that he's afraid of doing it. And it's like, because I was like, I thought, oh, what is it? And then I figured out, oh, it's a new costume for him. And once I figured that out, I was like, see, well, what's he going to look like? I mean, is he going to be like some like Wakandan representation of Captain America? That doesn't really seem right, because he should look exactly like Steve Rogers does, because he represents the same sort of things. In my mind, it does anyway. But yeah, and I thought the way that they got to, that the flag smashers had used their things to get everybody around them, and that flash dunk on the, so obviously the people are adapting to each other and stuff like that. I thought this was great.
Before I pass it on to Mondino, I just want to say that it's all but confirmed. Until it is confirmed, we have no fucking idea, Cousin Cheetah. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is her, but until it's confirmed, let's just hold our horses a little bit, yeah? And I've already said earlier, I don't want it to be confirmed in this season. I want them not to confirm who the Flag Smasher is at all. I want people to constantly think, oh, we're going to find out who he is next episode. Well, we're not. It's not been confirmed, and I want it to remain like that. Okay, Mondina, on to you regarding the culmination of this with him finding the suit and shit.
So just to clarify, I was shaking my head to Cousin Cheetah with it all but confirmed it was Sharon in this episode. I disagree. You two, I'm surprised you two saw fear in Sam's eyes when he opened up that suitcase. I saw excitement in his eyes. It's like, oh, I got a new toy.
Right.
The size of the box. I'm kind of thinking that this is a Wakandan version of his Falcon suit.
Right. I don't know what the word is, but that it's a mix of fear and excitement. I know what you mean. Like, this is it. Like, this is he's gonna fucking do it. Yeah, you know what I mean? He's like doing a bungee jump for the first fucking time. You know what I mean? That's the only word. I can't think of the word for it though. But anyway, sorry for interrupting.
I kind of like that. I kind of like and dislike that they didn't reveal it. It almost made me feel like they took a beat from a Tarantino film with the golden suitcase where you can't see inside. From what was that film?
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, from Pulp Fiction. It's almost like they were kind of using that type of style on this case, and you kind of know that scene 2 or 3 of episode 6 of Falcon and Winter Soldier, you're going to get the suit reveal, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm sort of hoping that we get to see a flying Captain America in Sam Wilson, and I mean that was for me was kind of like the best part of that little scene.
Look, I just want to quickly respond here to Cousin Cheeto, but I'm not sure if he's understanding what makes sense here. If she's the power broker, she's working Backrock the Leaper. Why is she getting Backrock the Leaper to work alongside the Flag Smashers? Why doesn't he just get Backrock the Leaper to kill the Flag Smashers? I mean, that's what he is. He's an assassin. So it makes no sense. It makes more sense that she's working alongside them. But don't get me wrong, I could be wrong. But if she is the power broker, why did she get her golden goose killed? Why did she leave Sam to those guys? It makes no sense. That's the only thing I just can't comprehend. Why would she want to kill the person making the serum? I just don't get it. You know. Anyways, so that was the end of the episode. But did you know? I hope you guys knew this. It was post-credit scene.
Yes.
Yeah, and John Walker's getting it.
Scene is what Cousin Cheeto's referring to when he's like the birth of US Agent.
Well, this John Walker, he got his Tony Stark out, man. He's going ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. I don't know what that meant. The only thing I was thinking to myself is, what is the material he's using to make that shield? Yeah, is it adamantium? Is it vibranium? Is it titanium? Is it fucking just standard steel? I mean, will it still work as well if it's not vibranium? Because vibranium is not just a hard metal; it's a very light metal. So probably that's why it works so well as a frisbee.
You have to take into consideration he was using a hammer to bash it into shape. So it's got to be a standard metal. Because if it was a vibranium, it would just absorb all of those hitting like it's no tomorrow.
I don't know. I don't know. I just, it's very hard to understand.
I think he just wanted something. When he made that shield, he's doing it to complete his identity. Because when that shield got taken away from him, it cut him. It hurt him deep inside. So he created something from whatever he had around him to fulfill his identity. And obviously, it's not going to be Captain America, and it's going to be whatever this new evolution is.
I mean, by the way, I think there's more chance of the Sharon Carter being the one who stole the serum for the Flag Smashers in the first place, by the way, as well. I think that makes a bit more sense. How the fuck does someone like Carly get the fucking serum off the fucking power broker, for fuck's sake? Anyway, what does Cousin Cheetah say here? Also, in episode 3, when Zemo shot the scientist, she said, "What have you done?" And before getting into... Yeah, I know she probably didn't anticipate the scientist to be killed. Why the fuck did she lead them there? It just makes no sense. Why is she putting a bounty on these guys and then killing the guys who are trying to kill them? I mean, it's just a bit weird. I don't know. Like, some things need to look. I'm not 100% sure. I just don't know.
They're going to reveal it in the next episode.
All I'm saying, Cousin Cheeto, is that you're very adamant that you pretty much said they've all but confirmed it's Sharon Carter. Let's just hold our shit down until it is confirmed, and he might not even be confirmed. That's the funny thing. But if it's not confirmed,
my money's on Val.
Yeah, the new woman could be the fucking power broker. The woman who came in today who offered John Walker that blank card. So, Bossman, regarding that end credit scene, what do you think?
Awesome, because he gives us the sense that now he's gone from being Captain America to being US Agent with John Walker now. So he's fully embracing that identity. The fact that he's putting his little medal that he got given.
Mm-hmm. I like that too. Do you think that the vibranium shield he's making, or something else, or another material?
Well, I don't think it'll be vibranium. Vibranium is like one of the rarest metals in America. It's only found in Wakanda, isn't it?
You can only get it from Wakanda, but there's nothing saying, but with a little bit of writing here and there. You know what I mean? Just get a bit of vibranium, give it to John, make a shield out of it. You know what I mean? Here you go. Here's $3 billion. Make a shield. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just saying, I just feel if he doesn't have a vibranium shield, that shield is useless, because it has to, even if that shield is not vibranium, it needs to be as light as vibranium in order to be thrown the way a vibranium shield is thrown. If you know what I mean, it's not. It's very like fucking light. So I just feel these things come into play a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with him next week. So that was the episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This was for me the Sam Wilson origin story of becoming Captain America. It was full on, you know, with him going. And I love some of the things I love about these sort of superhero films and stuff like that. It's just sometimes when these guys are just being regular people, and you really see who they are as characters. Because like I said before, John Walker and Sam Wilson would risk their lives to save a child in a burning building. But who are they as people? We know them as a hero. Who are they as people? Yeah. And we saw it as Sam Wilson. And this whole season has made me realize why he's the perfect Captain America. You know, he's the voice of reason. He's always trying to diffuse things, never trying to go with an escalated way of approaching things, trying to go with the talking approach, always giving people good advice, you know, being, you know, just seen as a good human being and liking being the hero, because even though Steve Rogers doesn't want to get into conflict, he would never back down from it. And I think same with Sam Wilson. You know, even though he doesn't want to be the hero, he will be the fucking hero if need be. And I like that about him. He's everything Captain America needs to be. Sorry,
but
boss.
I was going to say, I think the thing is that, as we were saying before, this whole episode was why he is conflicted about it. Because, as I said, because, like, you know, I mean, I suppose this is a bit of, you know, real life stuff. I went to a Black Lives Matter march in Manchester last year when the whole George Floyd thing kicked off. And even in Manchester, which is in the UK, which we'd all say is a pretty tolerant country, you know, the people of colour there were talking about how they're treated badly. You know, they're always fished by cops. You know, they actually asked people, "Have you ever been searched by the cops on the street?" And literally no white person put their hand up. All black people said, "Yeah, I have." So obviously, even in this country, there's still a problem. That is not even a quarter of what American black people have to go through each and every day. You know, every day that they do not get harassed by the cops or killed by the cops is a good day for them. And that should not be the case. They should be able to go to the shop, come back from the shop without thinking, "Am I going to die in a interaction with police?" And that, again, is itself a complex feeling. And this episode deals with it in a very understandable way. It's like, this is how we were treated. Because, I mean, in Vietnam War, that thing's happened. It wasn't Siege syndrome, where the wrong men were spirited on by its own people. And a lot of them were people of colour. So, you know, the thing is that, you know, that comes from a real place. And I think that, you know, we have to understand that Sam Wilson is speaking for a people of colour who don't feel American because of the things that I just mentioned.
Do you think it's kind of actually really cool that the new Captain America is getting his suit from Wakanda? And do you also feel that, like Bucky's arm, they'll put a failsafe in that suit just in case Sam fucking goes out of line?
They have to do like Fist and North style.
Some sort of failsafe, because they have created his suit for him. So it's good to see that a guy who's of African origin, who's now Captain America, is getting his suit from an African country. I very much I like that. I very much appreciate that. It's pretty cool. And I can't wait to see him. I'm a bit concerned because I think the reveal of his suit is going to be massive. And it might have been deflated if we saw him in this suit at the end of this episode. Then it might be see him at the beginning of the next episode, because I'm not sure if Anthony Mackie can pull off a white uniform, if you know what I mean, which is what he traditionally was, mainly white, the Captain America Falcon uniform in the comics. And I really don't want him to go down that route. It's going to be very interesting to see what they create for him. I can't even imagine, but I hope it works for him. I really do, because
they've got to get the tone exactly right, considering what they just did this episode. They've got to get that tone exactly right.
I just hope the suit looks good on him. You know, it could be pure white, for I fucking know, as long as it looks good on him.
Guys,
yes,
you're getting ahead of yourselves. just because Sam's got the shield, you still got to wait for the American government or the GRC to turn around and invite him to be Captain America. Because
No,
at
no,
the
no, no.
minute, he's a guy who's got the shield. He's gonna behave the way that Steve did, but he's not Captain America until the Star Spangled Banner have their ceremony and they say, "Okay, we gave it to the wrong person. Please come and be our Captain America."
It'll be very interesting because the thing is, though, I'm not so sure. Like Steve became kind of Captain America because of what he did in Second World War, and even though he was an individual, he was very libertarian in his in the way he fought for looked at things. He was never going to succumb to the government, regardless of his name being Captain America. If his own government was doing wrong, he would speak out for it. Walker was a pawn for the government and did whatever they fucking said. Sam Wilson, on the other hand, isn't, which is why he fought alongside, even though he himself is also a soldier like Steve Rogers is. He was more in Steve Rogers' ideology, which is why he was always alongside him during things like Civil War and stuff like that. So I don't, regarding the government, they wouldn't want him to be him, but he might end up being Captain America by popular opinion, and then the government doesn't fucking matter. Then it's how people see him. You know what I mean?
Well,
Boss man.
I think I personally think what's going to happen is to see a guy who actually exemplifies what Captain America is supposed to be and says, right, we're putting our weight behind that guy. Because again, they're going to say, look, it doesn't matter why you did it without us. We want endorsement. And he'll just say, well, let me talk about this guy called Isaiah Bradley and what you did to him. And so I bring it up. I mean, because that's what should happen in my mind.
No, he's not going to bring up Isaiah Bradley, but Isaiah Bradley doesn't want to be brought up, and I think Sam will honor that. I think if anything, Isaiah Bradley will bring himself into the frame. When he wants to be, and I do think this is not the last we will see of Isaiah Bradley. I mean, his son Elijah Bradley's there, and we know about Young Avengers and all that bollocks. So, there was no way he's going to name drop him, man. No way, especially when Isaiah Bradley doesn't want to be name dropped, man. That would be the worst thing Sam would do, mate. You know what I mean? But I do hope Isaiah Bradley himself comes out of his hiding and feels, after maybe seeing Sam as Captain America, maybe he feels okay to show himself, which would be pretty cool.
Perhaps Isaiah will turn around and say, "You are the self-respecting Black American who can pull off Captain America."
Hopefully so. There's still it's funny the way I still feel in this world there's a long way to go, until we see definite change. But it's good to see that change appreciated in the movies. And whenever people start going on woke, it's just because the formula's changed. Go on.
Well, the thing is that if we see Captain Sam Wilson as Captain America going forward, then again, I hate this whole idea of woke. It's like it's not woke. It's just like no, it's a new character portrayed it. Just because it's a person of color doesn't mean it's woke. It just means that it would make sense for that particular character to carry that. He happens to be a person of color.
I can't stand the term.
There are people of color in America. Fuck it off. Sorry.
I totally agree. I can't stand this term woke. It's like it's something that's not fitting the usual norms of white heterosexual fucking male, which is basically what anytime anyone brings up the term woke is that. Oh look, there's like more women than men in this show. It's fucking woke. Like, why does that shit bother you so much? Why does
I'll tell you what it is. It's because when it's the other way. It's because when it's the other way around, they don't say fucking anything. So when it's like, I don't know. I mean, I like this movie, but when Tom Cruise is the last samurai, it's okay. Whenever it's a white guy playing a black role, or if I mean like a role meant for a minority, fuck off.
Let me tell you an example of what I sorry for going on a tangent here, boss, guys. But when it comes to things being stupid in films, it's like seeing Jamie Foxx playing Little John. Like, what the fuck is that all about, man? You know what I mean? There's a black guy in that period of England. Even I'm not buying that. Yeah, I'm not buying it. That's just stupid. You know what I mean? That's just. If the term woke is brought up, that would be it there as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? I find that ridiculous, to see him in a fucking Robin Hood fucking film. You know what I mean? Same to, was it Robin Hood? or was it? It was no, sorry, I apologize. He played Little John. Yeah, it wasn't so difficult. It's funny in a way. It kind of made a bit more sense with Morgan Freeman because he played a Mormon and stuff like that from another part of the world, Crusades and shit. But fucking hell, I swear he came across like an American in that Robin Hood film I saw him in. It was fucking ridiculous. Jamie Foxx. Anyway, I'm going on a massive tangent. I do apologize, but we're now on to the final episode that's going to be happening next week. What do you guys expect to happen? I'll start with you, Mondina.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a one division conclusion where they kind of give us the reveal. Sam suddenly now has his new suit. Bucky's going to finally have his moment and move on from being this traumatized Winter Soldier guy. But they're going to leave us with like the next movie or the next something. So I'm expecting there to be a little bit of conclusion. Maybe Batroc doesn't get his revenge on Sam, and I think we'll get to see who the power broker is. But beyond that, I don't think we're going to get anything else.
Boss man.
I think what we're going to get is, as Mondino just said, reveal who the power broker is. And I think we're going to just get like a massive fight scene, with like with the flag smashers in that building that does turn red and everything like that. And then we're going to see like Sam crashing as himself, and then we're going to see Bucky come in as well. But I am going to be cross if what I just predicted happens, which is that Japanese guy finds some way of like doing some weird kung fu crap to him, and he just like that paralyzed for 5 minutes. I am going to be cross if that happens. But if that does happen, but it might be kind of awesome.
It's very left field, but okay, I wasn't thinking like that. Look.
No, all right. I call it right now. It is going to happen.
Well, he's doing some sort of martial arts shit with Bucky.
Yeah, I'm calling it right now.
But,
totally left field there.
I would have never brought that up. I would have just kept that in and only brought it up if it happened. But if it happens, then you got an argument. And if it doesn't happen, he's just like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Anyway,
it'd be like some sort of hold or something he does. I don't know.
I don't think he's going to do jack shit. But anyway, I think we're not going to get a fight between Walker and Sam and Walker and Bucky because we've already had that this episode. And I don't think they can repeat that formula again. And then Walker loses again. I don't think that's going to be a good look. I'm thinking like a wrestling promoter here. So I think they're going to join forces. I think Sam and Walker and Bucky are going to team up to get the flag smashes. And obviously Walker's going to do it his way, which is kill them if he gets a chance. While Sam is going to try and, take him down without having to kill them if he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Basically, that's how I think it's going to be. Will we get the reveal of the power broker next week? What do you guys think?
I think it's going to be. I think we've already had the reveal, but not by name, just by the person being in there.
Yeah,
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't care.
But you know what? I don't see Walker joining forces with Sam and Bucky.
You don't?
No. Not the way that Sam and Bucky are going to be representing somewhat more the GRC, and he's done with those people. They've told him, you know what, we're done with you. We're getting rid of you. If you do anything wrong, we're going to put you in prison. If anything, he's going to start up something else.
I do feel that whoever Walker's aligning himself with are enemies of the flag smashers, regardless of them not being GRC. They're still on a different side. They're on a different side to the flag smashers, and obviously Walker himself has unfinished business with the flag smashers because of Lamar. So I do feel, in that sense, that if the anyway, in the day, like Walker's done his. Walker went to trial. He went to court.
Yeah, remember, Carly killed Walker's best mate, and Sam and Bucky stole the shield. So he's got beef with both of them. So I can't see him joining forces with anyone.
He's got beef with them, but he's making his own shield for a start. He's gone to court, so like it's not like these two guys are trying to chase each other and stuff like that. His criminals or whatever foul he did because of episode 4 is being resolved. So I just feel that it's going to be an unlikely alliance. I hope I'm right. Actually, I don't want to be wrong on this, but I don't want them to fight each other again. I don't want Walker to lose again. You know what I mean? He's lost a lot in this show, but if you think about it, he's on the fight on the fucking on the tanker, they lost against the Wakandans. He's lost against fucking Bucky and Sam. He keeps fucking losing, man. So he lost Lamar. So I want Walker to come out with a win, if anything. It's about time. So anyway, regarding what I think was going to happen, do you think there'll be a cliffhanger at all? No.
No,
something else.
I mean, it could be a cliffhanger of like maybe after credits, maybe like here we see like whoever the post broker is, and we see like showing on the phone to him saying, they escaped at this time, and we could, and maybe we get Dr. Claw or something going. Get the Claw. No, sorry,
I know where you're going with that. I get it.
Okay,
no, but it's somebody on the phone going, "No, we'll get it next time," and stuff like that.
I just think personally, some of the post-credit stuff will be the introduction of the Thunderbolts. Like the Thunderbolts have been brought up a lot, and if it isn't, look, I got to stop being so certain about certain things because I end up being wrong when it doesn't pan out the way I expected it to. But like I said, there's a lot of talk about the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts will be making the news all the time. You see all these different characters who are in the MCU currently who could be part of the Thunderbolts. I just hope I get that. I want that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that. I want a Thunderbolts cliffhanger, post-credit scene stuff after all the battles. I don't think the entire episode is going to be 1 hour of them fighting in New York against a terrorist. I think some of that's going to be resolved in the first half, and there's going to be like a half an hour epilogue, maybe near the end. What do you guys think? Does that sound all right?
Maybe, yeah. Or maybe like Isaiah Bradley like comes in. That would be quite badass if that happens. Like
he comes in, yeah, man. He comes in, yeah.
We see the old farts like coming in and thing, like rescuing the old guys. We see that famous Chinese guy do some kung fu shit.
Why are you so obsessed over that, man?
Because that would be kind of awesome.
No, you're boss man. Honestly, you're going way too much into this. It sounds wrong, man. There's just this old Japanese man who Bucky's son. You're like, what the fuck, man? You've seen this old guy? He can barely walk. What are you on about, boss man? Please stop going on about that. You're making it sound stupid. I beg you, man. Anyway, let's put that to a close. Actually, I do apologize. If we've got nothing more to say about the show, I'm going to wrap things up. Anything more to say, boss man? Ray?
The only thing I can foresee coming out at the end of episode 6 is going to be the reveal of who Val's working for or who she's representing to kind of draw us into the next story that they're going to build upon. That's about it, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think her introduction in this episode will lead to something next episode as well. I'm eager to see that. I'm really desperate to find out what fucking material that goddamn shield is made out of. I'm so curious about that. I need to know.
It's made from aluminum.
Oh, yeah, that's going to fall like anything. But anyway. All right, then. So that's been our debate on episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. One more episode to go, and then after that is Loki. And you know what's after Loki? What If? I'm very anticipating. I'm looking forward to that. Now, after this will be the last episode, by the way, next week, and then I think we're gonna have a 1 month break. So we're gonna have to find some shit to fill the fucking void. There is some stuff out there, I'm sure there is. But yeah, next week the finale. Can't fucking wait. And I hope you two guys join me for another debate. So this has been our conversation. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, Mondino.
Been a pleasure.
And thank you very much, everyone else. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook as well. Look for the logo you can see on YouTube. You'll see that on Facebook regarding all the different channels that are also called Nerd Nation. If you want to know who we are, the logo is the way. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Take care. Goodbye.